Hello, today's video we have the following content.
Actor Xiao Zhan applied for compulsory execution. This is not the first time Xiao Zhan has applied for compulsory execution. As early as October 29 this year, because the defendant Zhang Maomao failed to fulfill the public apology obligation of the court's judgment, Xiao Zhan applied for compulsory execution and disclosed the main judgment content of the case. The case shows that the court requires the defendant to publicly apologize to Xiao Zhan to eliminate the impact on his reputation rights. However, Zhang Maomao failed to perform the judgment on time, which led Xiao Zhan to take legal means to defend his legitimate rights and interests. As a public figure, Xiao Zhan has faced online violence and false statements many times in recent years, but he has always chosen to safeguard his rights and interests through legal means rather than through public opinion counterattack. This not only shows his trust and respect for the law, but also provides a positive demonstration for public figures to deal with similar problems. This move is not only a protection for oneself, but also a promotion of the standardization of the network environment, calling on the society to jointly create a healthier network ecology. Xiao Zhan's firm attitude has also been supported by many netizens. It is generally believed that the internet is not a lawless place, and freedom of speech does not mean that you can arbitrarily slander or infringe on the rights of others. Through this case of compulsory enforcement, the legal consequences of defamation have been further clarified, and it is hoped that it will serve as a warning to those who attempt to attack others through false statements. The announcement pointed out that the defendant directly named the plaintiff Xiao Zhan in the alleged infringing blog posts posted on his account. Combined with the content of the blog posts, these remarks are clearly aimed at Xiao Zhan himself, with clear directionality and direct correspondence. The court believes that the defendant's behavior has constituted an infringement of Xiao Zhan's right to reputation and has seriously affected his public image and reputation. According to the results of the case, the court ruled that the defendant must publicly apologize on the relevant platform to eliminate the adverse effects on Xiao Zhan. However, the defendant did not fulfill the relevant obligations in accordance with the judgment, which led Xiao Zhan to apply for compulsory enforcement to ensure that the judgment was implemented. This announcement once again emphasized the boundaries of freedom of speech, pointing out that malicious attacks in cyberspace are not only immoral, but also touch the bottom line of the law. The disclosure of this case not only won the rights that Xiao Zhan deserved, but also reminded the public again that the internet is not a place outside the law. Whether ordinary people or public figures, they have the right to safeguard their legitimate rights and interests through legal channels. In response to online violence and false statements, society should treat them with a higher legal awareness and sense of responsibility, and jointly create a rational and civilized online environment. The above-mentioned blog post accused of insulting is obviously malicious, and the content is not only directed at Xiao Zhan personally, but also has an obvious insulting nature, which seriously damages Xiao Zhan's reputation and social evaluation. The court believes that this behavior constitutes an infringement of the right to reputation, which has brought adverse social impact and mental harm to Xiao Zhan. In the end, the court ruled that the defendant Zhang Maomao publicly apologized to Xiao Zhan and compensated 8,000 yuan for mental damage and 1,500 yuan for reasonable expenses. The judgment aims to restore Xiao Zhan's reputation through legal means, punish the defendant's infringement, and send a clear signal to the society: no one can wantonly spread false information or make malicious insults on the internet platform, and must bear legal responsibility for their words and deeds. This judgment not only seeks justice for Xiao Zhan, but also further promotes the society's attention to online violence and the protection of reputation rights. When facing online infringements, public figures have taken legal means to protect their own rights and interests, which has been widely supported. At the same time, it also reminds all internet users that rational speech and respect for the rights of others are the basic qualities that every netizen should have. On November 5, 2024, because the person subject to execution, Wang Maomao, failed to fulfill the obligation to make an apology in the court's judgment, the court issued an announcement announcing the civil judgment of the online infringement liability dispute between Xiao Zhan and him. According to the judgment, the court required Wang Maomao to publicly apologize to Xiao Zhan to eliminate the negative impact of his infringing remarks on Xiao Zhan's reputation. However, Wang Maomao failed to fulfill his apology obligation as required by the judgment, resulting in Xiao Zhan applying for compulsory execution. The case involved infringing remarks posted by Wang Maomao on the internet platform, the content of which was obviously directed at Xiao Zhan personally, was malicious in nature, and seriously affected Xiao Zhan's reputation and public image. The court determined that Wang Maomao's behavior constituted an infringement of the right to reputation, and made a judgment requiring him to apologize and compensate. The announcement of this case is not only an important milestone for Xiao Zhan to defend his legitimate rights and interests, but also once again emphasizes the responsibility for speech in the network environment. The court's judgment and compulsory execution remind the public that any online infringement may face legal accountability. While protecting the right to reputation, it also calls on people to maintain rationality and respect for others in the online world. Basic literacy. According to the court's ruling, the defendant Wang Maomao has published 152 insulting and defamatory infringing contents on his social media account in the past year, seriously infringing Xiao Zhan's right to reputation. These false statements not only have a bad impact on Xiao Zhan's public image, but also have caused trouble to his personal life. The court ruled that Wang Maomao must publicly apologize to Xiao Zhan on his account involved in the case, and compensate Xiao Zhan for mental damages of 8,000 yuan and reasonable expenses of 3,600 yuan, totaling 11,600 yuan. This judgment aims to repair Xiao Zhan's reputation through public apology and financial compensation, and provides certain compensation for the mental damage he has suffered. The judgment of this case emphasizes the legal consequences of online infringement, especially the protection of the reputation rights of public figures. The court's decision is not only a restoration of Xiao Zhan's rights and interests, but also sets an example for society that online violence should be subject to legal sanctions. Through this case, the law once again clarified the boundary between freedom of speech and personal rights, and warned the public to abide by laws and regulations in cyberspace and avoid malicious attacks and unfounded insults. According to the latest announcement of the court, Wang Maomao was eventually enforced by the court for failing to fulfill his obligation to apologize. Previously, the court had ruled that Wang Maomao should publicly apologize to Xiao Zhan and compensate for mental damages and reasonable expenses, but Wang Maomao did not perform this obligation as required by the judgment. In order to ensure that the judgment is executed, Xiao Zhan applied for compulsory execution in accordance with the law. This move once again emphasized the authority of the court's judgment and reminded the public that online infringements will not only face civil liability, but may also be subject to further legal sanctions for refusing to execute the judgment. Through compulsory execution, the court effectively safeguarded Xiao Zhan's legitimate rights and interests and provided strong protection for the legal order of cyberspace. This incident further reminds everyone that freedom of speech on the internet does not mean that you can infringe on the reputation of others without scruples, and any infringement should bear the corresponding legal consequences. China Ansha app shows that in the reputation dispute case between Xiao Zhan and LV Maomao, since LV Maomao failed to fulfill his apology obligation, Xiao Zhan applied for compulsory execution on November 14, and the Beijing Internet Court immediately announced the judgment of the case. The right to reputation is of vital importance to everyone, and public figures are no exception. As a popular artist, Xiao Zhan has always appeared in front of the public with a positive image, and has won the love and respect of the audience with his solid talent and good character. However, while he has received widespread attention, he has inevitably become the target of attack by some lawless elements and black fans. These black fans who have released false information through online platforms, maliciously slandered Xiao Zhan's personal image, and carried out malicious attacks and slander, which seriously damaged his reputation. This behavior not only violated Xiao Zhan's personal rights, but also affected his family and work life, and brought him great mental pressure and distress. As a public figure, although Xiao Zhan faces the challenge of higher exposure and freedom of speech, he still insists on protecting his rights and interests through legal means and not letting malicious attacks succeed easily. Xiao Zhan's practice of defending his reputation through legal means shows his tenacity and courage in the face of false statements, and also reminds the public that the right to reputation is not only a basic right that everyone should enjoy, but also should be protected by law. Through this series of legal actions, Xiao Zhan has also provided valuable experience and demonstration for public figures to deal with online violence and defamation, calling on everyone to jointly maintain a healthy, rational and civilized online environment. Before the law, Everyone should be responsible for their own actions. LV's behavior not only hurt Xiao Zhan's reputation, but also seriously violated the law. As a public figure, Xiao Zhan has long appeared in front of everyone with a positive image. However, LV's malicious behavior of posting insulting remarks through the internet platform has caused great damage to Xiao Zhan's personal image. After hearing the case, the court made a fair judgment, requiring LV to publicly apologize to Xiao Zhan and compensate for mental damages and reasonable expenses, which is a legal protection of Xiao Zhan's right to reputation. However, LV failed to fulfill his apology obligation in accordance with the judgment. This refusal to execute the court's judgment not only aggravated the harm suffered by Xiao Zhan, but also further reflected some people's disrespect for the law. Xiao Zhan's application for compulsory execution demonstrates his firm attitude in the face of injustice and his determination to defend his legitimate rights and interests. This action is not only to win the respect for Xiao Zhan personally, but also a legal education for the society, reminding the public that no matter what their status is, they should abide by the law and respect the rights of others. Through this case, Xiao Zhan not only successfully defended his own reputation, but also set an example for other public figures to defend their rights under the law. This move also issued a clear warning against online violence and defamation, emphasizing that freedom of speech in cyberspace cannot override the law. It is hoped that through such incidents, more people will realize that the internet is not a lawless place, and everyone should be responsible for their own words and deeds, and jointly create a civilized and harmonious online environment.
Thank you for watching the video. If this is your first time watching a video, please subscribe to the channel, like and leave your comments to help us develop your channel.